my brothers and sisters, you have to understand the setting around this text because Paul was going through an unusual transition in his life. Paul was going through an unusual transition because the Lord wanted him to take about the death and the burial and the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ to Rome. And I did not understand, Bishop, why in the world that the Lord wanted him to go from point A to point B. Why did he have to go through an unusual process that he had to go through? Why in the world that the Lord didn't allow him just to go to Rome? Well, my brothers and sisters, I realize that having some of y'all have moved from one house to another, and you move from one apartment to another, and you start packing your things up, and you realize that you have more junk than you really need. Don't tell me you start packing some of your things up and you realize that you have some stuff that you have no more use for in your life. Well, that's the reason why the Lord puts us to the uncomfortable position and an uncomfortable transition in our life, because there's some things that he trying for us to get rid of, and there's some things that we have no more use for in our lives. So Paul, but you have to understand something, my brothers and sisters. Whenever we say yes to the Lord's will and yes to his way, that does not mean that we are devil-proof any longer. That's when Paul was before King Agrippa a few chapters before. He said, when he told King Agrippa, when I say yes to the heavenly vision, he said two things happened to him. His popularity went, and he got persecuted. If you don't believe me, that your popularity goes and you get persecuted, Fetus told him, Paul, all this learning made you go mad. His popularity went. If you don't believe me, go home and go tell your husband, I'm going to pay 10% on my gross and not my net. I'm going to be faithful on my tithes and my offering. I'm going to be faithful every time the church doors open, and see where your popularity goes. Okay, that don't fit some of y'all this morning. Okay, I'm going to go right down y'all streets. Okay, if you don't believe me, go tell your friends I cannot be sneaking to the club no more. I cannot be having no more drinks. Oh, some of y'all act like y'all never drank before in y'all life. Y'all remember y'all used to have white Coke and Kool-Aid and shake it together and call it shake and bake. Some of y'all still got the Crown Royal bags at home, still collecting coins. Go and tell your friends we cannot be doing those things no more, and see where your popularity goes. Okay, that don't fit some of y'all. I'm going to go down some of y'all streets, okay? If you don't believe me, they say some people got skeletons in their closet. Well, some people got warm bodies in their closet. Go home and tell your warm body we can't have no more cohabitation. You're going to have to put a ring on my finger and see where your popularity goes. Okay, not only do your popularity goes, but you also, he said, you get persecuted. He said that the Jews sought out to kill him in the temple. Well, what are you saying to me, preacher? Everybody in the church is not working on God's agenda. So here they know that Paul, and you all know the story, that Paul was a Roman citizen. He had to go before Caesar, and they had to go on the boat. And Paul, the man of God said, we cannot go on the boat right now because the storm is going to put us in harm's way. Well, because the owner of the ship, he wanted to get his grain to sell on the larger port, and because Julius the centurion wanted to get his men to a comfortable place before winter, here we have greed and desire of comfort getting in the way of them not listening to the man of God, and they put themselves in an unnecessary storm. Some of you put yourself in unnecessary storms that you have no business being in if you learn to listen to the set man of God over your life. See, because some of you have to understand, when you went, sometimes a ship represents a living quarters. That's just like Jonah when he wanted to do his own thing. He did not want to do what God called him to do. He affected everybody in the ship. Y'all know the story of Jonah, and because of his disobedience, he affected everybody in the ship. That's like some of y'all, if you're over the men's ministry and you are doing what you want to do and not doing what the man of God tells you to do, you affect everybody body in the ship. If you're over the women's ministry and you're doing what you want to do and not what the man of God called you to do, you affect everybody in the ship. But some people don't understand the direction that the man of God is going. Some people don't understand what he's doing, and you want to do your own thing. You affect everybody in the ship. If you are an usher and you are mean as a rattlesnake and you're the first person they see walking in the door, you affect everybody in the ship. Look at somebody and say, stay in the ship. I don't care what ends up going on. I don't care if you don't understand what's going on and the waves and the winds try to crash and hit the ship. That doesn't mean that you sit up there and jump ship, but you stay in the ship. I don't care if you don't understand the direction that the Lord is coming, taking you. Stay in the ship. High five somebody and say, stay in the ship. So here they was in the ship, and an unnecessary storm hit them. You see, but some people don't want to be able, God, to take you through your storm. Some people want God to take you out of the fire, but fire refines you like gold. And then you don't understand, now, Lord, when are you going to take me out of this fiery situation? Okay, some of you look me kind of funny this morning. Let me help you out a little bit. I have a jeweler who makes all my jewelry for me. His name is Paul Antipas Jewelry in Toledo, Ohio. And Paul was making a ring for me. And I said, now I was kind of upset with Paul because my ring was not ready for the time that he said that my ring was supposed to be ready. But Paul said, I casted the mold that the ring was going to take shape of. But the gold is melting, but the gold is not ready yet. He said, but when I pour the gold over the casting, the wax, he said the ring is going to take shape of, and then when I put the stones on the ring, he says, then I put it in the setting. If I remove it prematurely, then I will mess up the ring, and I'll mess up the setting of the jewels. And I said, now, wait a minute, Paul. Now, hold on. Now, you said that the gold is already melted. Why you just don't wait and you just pour the gold over it? Because my ring should have been ready. He said the gold is still going through its process in the fire. And I said, now, hold on, Paul. How do you know when the gold is ready? He says, when I look into the gold and I look into the fire and I see my reflection in the fire, then I know the gold is ready. See, some of y'all miss it already. You wonder when God's going to take you out of your situation. He wants to take you out of your fire. He said, when I look into the fire and I see my reflection in the fire, then I know that you're ready. When you walk like me and you talk like me, shall glory in this place. So here, when you're going through your fiery situation, going through your storm, and you can't take it, you know you should have lost your mind a long time ago. But you did not know how in the world that the Lord was end up taking you through your situation. Matter